Hello, my name is Joe Perez, and I am the director of Texas Chronicles, History, Mystery, and Adventure. I am a 9-time Emmy Award winning director, and so one of the things that we talked about, oh, by the way, if you have any questions while I'm talking, just jump in because, we don't have to wait till the very end. So one of the things that we were talking about is that one of my inspirations was The Eyes of Texas. And for some of us who are a little bit older, The Eyes of Texas was a show back in the 80s where Ron Stone would go out and he would go to different towns in Texas, and he would interview just people who had really cool hobbies, really great places of interest. And, that kind of like resonated with me. I'm like, I love taking road trips. I love Texas, and I love to talk to people. And one of the things that I thought that, well, maybe this could work for me is I always carry a camera where I go. No matter where I go, I always take a camera because I like to talk to people, take pictures of just whatever. And I thought to myself, I think if I go and talk to people and kind of come up and just talk to just normal people and record it, I think I could do something with that. So then I started doing that, and then something that was a hobby of mine, all of a sudden has become this huge thing where now every month we get about, our reach is about 20 million people. So it's a lot. So one of the things, let's see if this works. It does. Yay. So who we are. So one of the things that I love to do is I love to go around Texas and number one, eat food because I love to eat. And number two is kind of visit places of interest. I love to travel, and I love basically everything Texas. Texas has such a great history, and the people you just can't find people like Texans anywhere else. I mean, we have such great stories. It's just the way people are. And I love to talk to people and just hear their stories. And a lot of times when you go online, you see people who have shows and it's all about them. It's like me. But what I like to do is I like to talk about other people because my story is kind of cool, but I love doing stories about other people. And that's what I think sells. So I do like to go around and visit places of interest in Texas, whether it's something spooky, or whether it's restaurants or things like that. But what we do is we find places that we want to visit. I have a day job, so people think this is my job. This is what I do. I go out and just have fun. But I work in the communications department at Deer Park ISD. So that's what I do during the day. And then in the evening, I have this to do. So we plan our trips, and then we go and visit, and we do the production there. So that's who we are. So video production. I do not have a crew. I don't have a writer. I don't have a producer. I don't have a video person. It's all me. When I go to different places, whether it's a restaurant or it's a place of interest, people are like, "Well, where's your crew?" Well, we don't have one. It's just me.
It's me.
So I'm the one that handles the camera. I'm the one that comes up with the dialogue. I'm the one that comes up with the writing and all of it. So it's just a one-man show. And I think a lot of times people that want to get into like the video production part of it, of like, let's say you have something that you're interested in and you want to be a video producer, or you want to have a show. Well, they're kind of like standoffish because it's like, I don't have a writer, I don't have this and that. We don't need that. You can be a one-man person, and you can have your own, you could have your own production. So what I do is I always find a place that I'm going to go to first. We make contact with the people there, and then we basically write the intros. And when we get there, it's kind of like a free-for-all. I get all the B-roll, then I do my interviews, and then we come back and we put it together. So one of the things that people say is like, "Oh man, you must be making a lot of money." doing this because they see me, I'm on television, you see me all over the internet, and people are always asking me, they're like, man, you just bring in a whole bunch of money. Well, we don't. We charge absolutely nothing for our production. So in the real world, our production costs would probably be, if you were a business owner and I were to come in and ask you for a video, it would probably cost you around $10,000. But we do our production absolutely free. So we only pick, when it comes to like restaurants, we only pick mom and pop places. Because a lot of times they don't have the budget for marketing. They don't have a budget for having somebody come in and produce something for them and then put it out, because that costs money. We're already established. Like I said, we have about 20 million people every month that come up to our site, and so we have a huge following, and we go in, we produce these videos for them, and we do it as a blessing for them. So we have businesses that are 2 months from, some places are 2 months from closing, and then all of a sudden we come in and we do our thing, and then you see an increase in people coming in. So we try to do maybe one every 2 months, and we only do, like I said, mom and pop places. But that's the thing, and I think a lot of people don't know that we do that because they think they're like, oh man, he must be rolling in money. But we don't. We do it as a blessing, and that's what we do. So we've done places, we do different eateries all over Texas, and it's kind of hard going and just wanting to eat somewhere because people are like, oh my gosh, he's here, he's gonna, and I'm like, no, I just want a burger, I just want to eat something good, but it's our whole, like most of the things that we do is all video production, and that's for the restaurant side. So here's kind of like a little sample of what we do.
For an awesome home-cooked meal and amazing huge burgers, a stop at the Wooden Spoon Kitchen and Bakery in LaPorte, Texas is a must. Come on in and let's take a look.
When you're traveling through Texas, you're bound to get hungry. Join Joe as he eats his way through the Lone Star State. This is Texas Chronicles Pit Stop with Joe Perez.
So we're at the Wooden Spoon Kitchen and Bakery here in LaPorte, Texas. The Wooden Spoon comes from our family recipes. One day we just decided that we wanted to open a restaurant, and originally we thought it was going to be a burger joint, but it just took off with the home cooking and the bakery. A lot of people come in for homemade desserts. That's the first place that people stop at whenever they come into the restaurant. Our chicken fried steaks are a big hit, our hamburgers, cheeseburgers, our homemade onion rings, our batter is made from scratch.
So while you're watching this, they were doing really bad. They had a fire. They had a fire, and they didn't know if they were going to open up again. So he reached out to me, and he's like, we need help. Because, we've had this fire, we don't have a lot of money to put into the restaurant now. We're going to open, but we probably can only survive for about 2 months. So we said, okay, let's go in and let's do something with them. And now that after we shot this video, people see what they have. People can hear the owners, see what they serve. What we do is we kind of break the ice for people. Sometimes you drive down the street and you see these restaurants that you've been seeing for years, and you're like, oh, well, I wonder what they serve there. We come in and we break the ice for people. We show them, hey, these are the owners. This is what they do. This is what they serve. This is their story. Come on in, right? So now they're totally exploding in LaPorte, and now it's like, I love stepping back and seeing a restaurant just completely just see their success. And I think they're even now going to expand a little bit, but I love that. I mean, and I can't say it's just me. I'm just putting them in the spotlight. So like I said, that's one of the things that we do. Another thing that we do is our travel videos. We do like shorts that we do. I'm from the Friendswood area. So our little quick trips that we do, like to Galveston or to to the San Jacinto Monument, we call those our quick trips for people. I mean, so places that are kind of like close to, to where we live. And so we put these together.
Here at the USS Lexington, on the ship's deck, you'll see a variety of airplanes.
And it's really cool because a lot of times,
it's a great place to bring the family, and an awesome place.
When I call people, I'm like, "Hey, can we come and shoot out on the USS Lexington?" I'm like, "Yeah, no problem," because I've seen some of the stuff that we do, and even though they don't need help getting people in, they do like that we come in and we show them that, hey, it's family friendly, and these are the cool things that these are the cool things that are on the ship, and we don't do anything that's like over like 5 minutes, so it's really quick. So it kind of helps them like with their marketing, So we do a little history on it, which I love Texas history, by the way.
Here at the USS Lexington, on the
one of the other things that we do is I love Texas history. There's a lot of places around Texas that have like small museums that I think that are just kind of unexplored. And like I was driving one time in it was like Nederland or something, and I saw this windmill museum, and I went in, and it was so cool because it was inside of a windmill, and here's this lady who, anyway, it was great because I wasn't expecting it, and I spent 3 hours with her, and she told me about her history, and she told me about her family.
For a taste of Dutch history in Texas, a stop at the Dutch Windmill Museum in Nederland is a must. Come on in and let's take a look.
Join Joe as he chronicles his road trips through the cities, towns, highways, back roads, and various regions of the Lone Star State. This is Texas Chronicles with Joe Perez.
Hi, welcome to the Dutch Windmill Museum here in Nederland, Texas. We're glad to have you, and we welcome you to come right on in.
The Dutch Windmill Museum in Nederland is a tribute to Dutch settlers. The first floor of the museum has a Western theme, featuring artifacts that date back 100 years, including a suit, boots, and other mementos of the late Tex Ritter. The country.
So the cool thing about this is like small, real cool museums like this aren't, a lot of times it's not on people's bucket list, so to show people. It's one of the things that we do, but we don't. So we also do. I love a good ghost story. Texas is full of ghost stories, and I love folk tales, and I love to hear them. And some of the stuff that I do like that we do like to produce too is like Texas ghost stories. So one of the things that so we don't go out and do like investigations. We just do like, hey, did you hear that Texas is haunted? That there's some places in Texas that are haunted, and we do like little segments. So one of the segments that we did was at the it's about the haunting at one of the Walmarts in Galveston, because where Walmart stands, it used to be a orphanage, and and a lot of the orphans passed away in 1900, and now supposedly it's kind of haunted. So.
The tragic events surrounding the 1900 Galveston orphanage drownings and the eerie presence of the haunted Walmart have left an indelible mark on the history and folklore of Galveston, Texas. In the 1900s, a devastating hurricane ravaged the city, claiming numerous lives, including those of innocent children residing in an orphanage. As the floodwaters surged, the nuns in charge of the orphanage made a desperate attempt to save the children, hastily tying ropes around their waists in a desperate bid for survival. However, the force of the hurricane proved too powerful, and tragically, the ropes only served to anchor the children to their doom. The floods engulfed the facility, leading to the heart-wrenching demise of many orphans. The collective grief and the lingering spirits of these lost souls has since become intertwined with the site's history. Today, an unsettling aura surrounds the Walmart built on that very location, with reports of unexplained phenomena, disembodied voices, and the inexplicable occurrence that leaves visitors with a sense of unease. The haunting serves as a chilling reminder of the tragedy that unfolded long ago, preserving the memory of the orphanage drownings and ensuring that the spirits of those lost children will never be forgotten.
So I love a good ghost story. I mean, of course it's tragic, but then, you know, when you're in Galveston, you don't realize that, like, some of the places that you're walking, they fought a civil War battle was fought there, you know, and it's pretty interesting. But that's one of the things that we do. I love a good ghost story. Another thing too is it's not all video. We do a lot of graphics. We work with different cities around Texas who have marketing divisions, whether it's Fort Worth or whether it's Austin, whether it's Marshall. They send us a lot of photography and descriptions of some of their places of interest, some of their travel locations, and what we do is we put it together and we post it on our site. So we're helping them, we're helping them with their marketing. So we're kind of funneling it through, and then we're showing people that, hey, this is a really good place for you to go visit. So we do a lot of that. Another thing too is there's a lot of really cool things about Texas, whether it's, Texas has an official, like, sweet onion. I mean, the state vegetable of Texas is the sweet onion. The official Texas fruit is a grapefruit. Texas has an official dog. It's the blue lacy. We have an official dinosaur here. So it's little facts that we like to post about Texas, which a lot of things people just don't know about. But, we live here. It's kind of cool if, we know those things. So it's just not all video production. And we do also post a lot about famous Texans. A lot of times whenever you see somebody, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they were born in Texas. You'd be surprised how many great and, whether it's famous actors or it's people, people in history like, Red Adair.
Buddy Holly.
But no.
That's not
Oh my gosh, what? Oh, who?
Yeah. Roy
Orbison, yes, Roy Orbison. But Tex Ritter, things like that. People like that are, they were born in Texas, and a lot of times people just don't know they were, they're born in a Lone Star state. So we do like to post that. But Buddy Holly that's whoever said Buddy Holly, that's another one who was born in Texas. We also like to post historical pictures. And I love the Library of Congress has a large amount of Texas photos that I just love to post because, this is the Sam Houston Monument going up. That's whenever they're putting it up. That's the old attraction at Astroworld. Do you remember the Cow Palace? No, no. In Astroworld, there used to be a place where it was a Cow Palace show. It was one of the first animatronic. It was one of the first animatronic shows built by the guys from Disney. And anyway, this is a scene from UT. Girls at UT.
Yeah, I saw that photo recently. It's from a sorority.
For sorority, yeah, in the 40s. But we love posting that. I think a lot of times, people like to see, these historical photos. I mean, I love to see them. And once again, we have a little section on our posts that we do called Haunted Texas. You'd be surprised how many places in and around Texas are haunted, and we try to kind of tell that story. And it's just a brief little piece that we do, and it's kind of interesting. And like I said, it's not just during the Halloween times where you get to watch something scary. I like it. I just like it all the time. It's just kind of cool. And the last thing that we do is people ask us to come and videotape. Not videotape. I'm old. Come and record different specialty events. So it's not just restaurants, travel, but if people want us to come out and do
This is Texas Chronicles with Joe Perez.
Well, I think goat yoga is a little bit different because it incorporates obviously animals into your practice, which animals have been known to be nurturing and helpful, especially for anxiety and depression. So putting the two together, you really get the benefits of body exercise and also the benefits that you would from animal therapy. So kind of a 2-for-1. Most of the guests have been really, really happy. They think it's a really cool first experience, especially for yoga, because sometimes I know personally I've experienced in yoga classes, they're very serious, no laughing, and it's kind of funny, especially your first time. So I encourage laughter and, just having a little bit more fun, a little bit more leniency with your practice. If it feels good to kind of stretch back and forth or shake it, we encourage that. So, we're just a little more country, so. Well, I am on lamb and goat auction with Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, so I personally have experience working the sift and spending a lot of time with these little guys. My mission is I've always enjoyed working with people and doing some therapy kind of type things with them, and then I enjoy it.
One of the things that I just love is going out and doing these things and building relationships with these people. Whether it's people that do goat yoga or if it's it's somebody who's doing who is the lead person at the USS Lexington. I love striking up conversations and then just making friends. So I absolutely love that. So that's about what we do. That's what we do. If I were to do something on television, I think it would feel like work. Yeah. This is more of
fun.
Yeah, I did something with the military 3 weeks ago. They came to one of our schools, and then I shot a video about they did the show on television where they open up the baskets and then they have all the ingredients in there. Y'all have to watch the Food Network. No, okay. Well, they had these MREs, and the kids they had to make dishes from the MREs, new dishes. It was awesome, and it's stuff like that. And I think if I worked for a television station, they'd be like, let's not, and that's like, I'm like, okay, let's do that.
They might say no to lots of great ideas.
Yeah, a lot of great
stories.
ideas. And I think if it doesn't fall into what story they're telling, I think then it's not, so I do whatever I want.
That's good.
Anybody else? Yes, it's on you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Besides places like if you just drive by a restaurant or something, how do you get some other ideas of places to go?
Well, people will ask, like, hey, have you been here before? And I'll go and try it. If I don't like it, I usually don't, I just don't say anything. But if I do like it and I hear the stories about, like, the owners and, their struggles or whatever product they have, and if they have a good product or they're doing something different, like we talked about, you saw the Bonnie's Donuts. Well, there's a Bonnie's Donuts in League City that sells a 10-pound cinnamon roll. I'm like, I've got to go there because it's 10 pounds of like cinnamon roll, and it's so different. So I'm like, let's go and do something over there because it's completely different. And it's those kind of things that I look for. I look for something that's a little bit special, a little bit something different, because I think people gravitate to that stuff. And like I said, they just want to see those kind of things.
Come to Santa Fe. There's a Santa Fe soap factory.
Okay.
And they make their soaps right there in their little house.
And-
It's really.
And those are the kind
they
of
have a little business.
Yeah, and those are the kind of things that we like to do. And if we can increase sales in a small business like that, I mean, that's awesome. So yeah, and we usually tell people to reach out to us, and then they kind of will tell us a little bit about them, their story, and what they do. And if it sounds like, okay, I think that's good, then we'll go and do it. So it just needs, even if it just lives on the site for a week, we could change the dynamic of their business.
So is that usually just a week or two?
Oh no! I'm just saying it's because our production schedule is like, okay, we do something, and then of course we'll post it again and like maybe in a month, but it lives on the site. You could just but yeah.
What were you saying you avoided earlier?
Oh, I avoid barbecue restaurants. I love Texas barbecue, but I totally avoid them because everybody has their own. Like it's like talking about trucks. People are like, barbecue is like everybody has their own way of doing it. They have their own taste. And if I do something, I will get so much hate mail because I'm like, I like this. So like, I can't believe you like this. It's, look at the bark. It's not whatever. And like, oh, you only smoked it for 15. Well, I smoke it for 23. And it's like, that's why I stay away from barbecue places.
If you did one, you'd have to do 10,000.
Well, it's not that. I think people are just so passionate about barbecue and they just, it's their way, or, if you're doing it something different, like it's completely wrong. And it's like, even like they're like, oh, you used rub on there? Well, it's not real, and they're like, oh, you're using this kind of smoker? No, that's not, and I'm like, okay. And it like, I get so much hate from that. And I get so much hate from like videos that I shot like 4 years ago, and people are just now watching it and they're like, I can't believe you. And I'm like, okay, chill out. So, so it's barbecue places I try to stay away from. So.
What's the scariest place you've been?
Do what?
What's the scariest place you found so far?
I went to a death row prison in Gonzales, Texas, and they said, "Go ahead and film." And we were upstairs in the death row area, and I was filming by myself in one of the cells, and I felt something grab my head from, like, it was like something like just palmed my head. And when you're in one of these prisons, the ceilings are like 20 feet tall. So there's
It's not an active prison out there.
no, it's a museum now. So, and it's the last place that they actually had hangings there for people who broke the law. So it's kind of, but I went there for like I just don't go there because it was like haunted. It's I'm more of a place. I find stories that have different layers. So if it has history to it, it has the haunting history. It still has the architecture. Those are the layers that I want, because when I tell my stories, that all those are interesting, and I can just put them all together in one story. But they're, when I come back and I listen to some of the audio, you hear people talking because it's on the second floor and there's no one around. You hear people talking. It's weird. It's just, but I don't go looking for that. It's just something strange.
Must have been the cell with the handprint.
That's the cell with the hand. There's a cell in there that there's a handprint that's supposedly if you.
Yeah, we didn't touch it.
Yeah, you put your hand on it. But it's a very, very famous place. But it's really creepy. It's really creepy. Yeah.
What's the furthest you've gone for a story?
We went to I try not to go into dangerous places. So we did something in Laredo one time, but it's kind of, there's some places that we try not to go because it's.
But that's far. I mean, Laredo's far.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. So, anything else?
I was going to ask, what are the motivation factors that drives the Texas Chronicles, and for you to keep doing it on a daily, or however else you do it?
Well, I love for the business part of it. I love seeing people succeed. Whether it's seeing somebody who has a business and we go in and, like I said, we help them with their marketing, showing what they do, what they have, and then coming back a couple of months later and then them be able to hire 5 or 6 more people because of the amount of people that are coming in. That for me is so rewarding because you just can't, there's nothing that you can, there's nothing like the feeling of seeing success in somebody else. But like one of my mentors had talked about, raising the boat. So if I can raise your boat, it raises mine, right? So if I raise other people's boats, it kind of raises mine too. So we're all coming up. And even though I do it for free, there's always things that come to me that are whether it's monetary or things like that, even though I never ask for any money, there's a fulfillment of being able to help other people. So, and that's what I do. And plus, the other part is really just talking to people. I think now the art of listening to people and talking to people and sitting down and learning about others and where they came from, who they are, where they were born, that's something that's missing now. I think a lot of times, and I say this generation, but it's like our generations, we sat down for dinner together and we talked about your day and we talked about this and when was the last time you actually sat with somebody and talked about them, and talked about, oh yeah, your mom, that's where she's from and things like that. I think that's missing now. And I think for me, it's just learning about other people and their struggles and where they've come from. And sometimes their stories are the stories for me that I think other people want to hear, So there's a fulfillment there.
Your bio mentions your son. How is he involved now?
So I have a 13-year-old and a 7-year-old. So we have a little show that we call Texas Chronicles Kids Edition. So a lot of times when we go, there's places that my kids love to go. So since I already have a camera, I film them and they say goofy stuff, but then we put it together and it works. It works, yeah. They both like to be in it and they know that, they're in most of my videos. So whether they're eating or playing around or whatever.
Do they want to follow Dad's footsteps?
Well, they like taking photos. My little one actually is a dancer. He likes to dance. My older one is more the creative part. He likes to build video games and everything. But even if they don't want to do that, I think what I do helps other people, whether it's in interviews. If you know how to talk to somebody or be able to look somebody in the face and do an interview, I think that helps whether it's getting a job later on or, it's communicating with somebody, presenting at a board meeting, So I think there's something in that.
If you've already answered this, or if it was in the presentation, I apologize, but like the first video, like what inspired all of this? Like, what was it? I want to start a series, or did it start with one video, or?
I always thought that. So my background is in video production. So I mean, I know how to put something together. I know how to tell a story. So the first thing that we did, you kind of like all video producers, you have an idea, and you put all together this B-roll, music, and everything, and then all of a sudden you have this thing. Okay, well, what do I do with this thing, right? So, here's a free platform that I can put this thing on, and maybe this thing will there's people that like this kind of stuff, and people gravitated to it, so really it's just like telling the stories that I like to tell, whether it's food or travel or things like that.
Is food your most popular videos usually?
Yeah, it is.
It gets a lot of shares.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Food.
What's the next thing? What happens next?
I don't know. I think we're gonna. So a lot of times people start, and they're like, they start doing video production, and then for the first 2 months, it's good, and then they just lose. They just don't continue with it, and they kind of go down. We do what works, and it's the food, it's the travel, and maybe sometimes we'll do like something new. But for right now, it's just steady as she goes. And I think there's a lot of talk with AI and with all kind of things like that. But I think that's it'll only. I don't think it works when it comes to like video production, because it's like, there's some really cool stuff that's coming out, but I think there's nothing like somebody getting B-roll and then going through it and telling that story with different images. So.
Authenticity. Like the authenticity of it?
Yeah, the authenticity of it, yeah. And it's hard to teach somebody how to tell a story, It's hard. And it's some people are good storytellers, and just some people aren't. But I mean, I think you can learn it, but I think it's a hard thing to learn. And I think something like AI is hard. I mean, I don't think it'd be able to tell a story like a human could. So.
Are you working on a story right now?
We just shot a story with a restaurant like 2 days ago, so it should come out soon. But our production schedule is pretty crazy right now. But we do maybe one every 2 weeks. So
that's fast.
It is fast, and when you've done it for so long, it's pretty quick. I never tell anybody it's quick. I can get it done really quick, and then kind of sit on it for a little bit, and then let that video be out and let it do what it needs to do, and then I have something in the can already. So when that one's done. And it's just a constant cycle,
How would you describe the field of communications? Because as students want to know what we're getting into,
Like what now?
Like, how would you describe the field of communications? Like, what will you do? How do you know you wanted to get into that?
Well, I always love talking to people, like right now with what I do. We, the communication at a school district, I never thought I'd work for education. I thought that maybe I'd be like making movies or something, but I found that working in education, I'm able to be creative every day, which I love. I love to sit down and there's a new project for me to do. And then I talk to parents, I talk to kids, I'm telling stories that are happening in the school, right? So, I'm sharpening my skills at work, telling those stories on education. And then, we do, every once in a while, we have a crisis. And then that's when we come and we, how do we tell the story? How do we tell the community about what's going on right now? And so that's part of the communication. And I think a lot of people don't know how school communications work. And it's a really fun if you've ever thought about going into it. It's a great career. And there's always and you get to be around kids, and you go and take photos of them being silly, and you take, you tell stories about stuff that teachers are doing in school. It's just it's great, and I've done it for 23 years, and I wouldn't do anything else.
Are those stories on like the school's websites then?
Yeah, like if you want to see, like if you go to Deer Park ISD, some of those videos are up there, and it's awesome. It's great. I mean, that's what I do. I tell stories every day, whether it's through video or through photos. You don't have to have you don't have to tell stories through video. You can do it with one photo. So that's.
So what you're passionate about aligns with what you do for work, basically. It's level. It doesn't matter where I'm at, what I'm told to tell a story about. So, I mean, like I've done work for like Budweiser and things like that. So it doesn't matter where I'm at. Whenever you're doing communication, you have to be a chameleon. You have to figure out, or like an octopus, wherever environment you're put into, you have to be able to thrive in. So if they put me in a rainforest, and they're like, okay, I need you to tell this story. Well, okay, I can do that. So I think you just need to be flexible with what you do. But yeah, it aligns with what I do. It's just telling those stories.
Do you do haunted stories year-round, or just?
You know what? I do them year-round. I do them year-round. I mean, it's like, why just in October?
Yeah.
And the cool thing is like I said, Texas is full of folklore, and being Hispanic, like when you're a kid, your parents tell you all these like scary stories, and it's like it's not just like but each of those folklore stories, they have a lesson. You have a lesson to learn. But I love those, and I love picking up old folklore, Texas folklore, and they have a lot of Hispanic they kind of intertwine with the Hispanic culture a lot, so it's always fun. But yeah, we do it. Yeah, and those are the that's why I don't go camping anymore. Because when I was a kid, my parents were like, "Oh, you hear that? That's La Llorona." And I'm like, "What is that?" She's like, "That she drowned her kids, and now she wants her kids back, and then she wants your kids, and then she's like, don't go by the water." But that's the lesson. That's the lesson, and it's done, and that's how a lot of cultures, were able to pass along those kind of things is through those stories, and that's why at night I'm in my tent. I don't go out because she's out there. Yeah.
Does your wife go on every story with you? Or?
She helps every once in a while with me, but she's got her own thing going on. But she helps every once in a while. Like sometimes she'll help with the writing. She's a great writer, so she does, and we try to help each other out. But she comes with me sometimes, and but she's we all kind of help each other out. But yeah, she does. She helps out.
So with the school district, are you at the high school?
No, I'm at the admin. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I went to Deer Park High School.
Oh, really? I'm on campus all the time. I love that school.
Would you like to grow this to be bigger and maybe one day have a team, or would you prefer to keep it like a family business?
I think I like how it's going now. I like it, and maybe we can expand and do something else. But
I don't know what new thing could come up. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe do something. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Because at least with this, you're the boss and you make the decisions.
Yeah, and I make the decisions. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, we could do something. I was thinking about doing a show where I would take prominent people in the community, and then put them in a situation where they don't like get the mayor to come out with me and then make pizzas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So something like that. I do love that show that. Have you ever seen that Jerry Seinfeld show, Having Coffee with Comedians in Cars?
Oh yeah, where they're driving around.
Yeah, they just talk, and
yeah.
I love that. I think that's so cool, you know. But I don't know. I don't know. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. But I'm not in a hurry to do that. So.
You could take Dr. Exley somewhere in Alvin. Something.
You know what? That'd be kind of cool. You know. I mean, but you know, I like doing things that are like putting people in situations that are different. You know,
out of their comfort zone.
Out of their comfort zone, because it's fun. You know.
A little undercover boss.
Yeah.
Undercover boss.
But I mean, come on. But you know, like that. I don't know how they get around with that. It's like, oh, here's a camera crew that's going to be following you around, you know, and man, you look like my boss. You know, so.
You go to the corn maze at Froberg's.
Yeah.
Oh, I love, and you know, and that's we used to do a video there every year. My kids love strawberry picking, things like that. So we've gone like 3 or 4 times and have made videos there. Yeah, I know. Have you ever been in there before? It's kind of creepy. You get in there and you like really like you could get lost, and then there's
you can't see.
You can't see, and then that like, which I kind of like that. There's something in you that's like, and that I kind of like that little jolt of getting scared.
Tyler Froberg was here a couple of weeks ago as our speaker.
Yeah, they've done an amazing job with their social media. They're
because he was here.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, he was here like 3 weeks.
Their social media, like how they sell their farm, is amazing. What they do with social media, and I mean, now their fall festival has gotten. I remember when it was just like 2 little things, and now it's grown to be huge. But they do a great job with social media. And here's this like a farmer, just this strawberry farmer who's like on TikTok and it's great because it's kind of like a fish out of water thing, you know, and people gravitate to that. They love that stuff, you know. But
speaking of TikTok, do you post to TikTok or Instagram Reels as well?
We do.
So you do shorter format?
We don't. They allow us to do 10 minutes.
Oh.
So we post. We don't post as much, but we do post. I mean, we have a pretty good following on TikTok. I don't do like TikTok stuff because I don't know. Just I don't do like any dancing or anything like that. I don't do any of that stuff.
Your son, that's the dancer, probably wants to.
Well, yeah, but I think like because like I said that I tell other people's stories. Like every once in a while, like I think I'm going to do one today and talk about the sunglasses for Saturday's moon thing. Because if there's an eclipse, and if you don't have these sunglasses, the glasses, I'll do something like that. But our accounts, it's not about me; it's about other people. So I might do something every once in a while, but most of the time it's other people's stories.
Do you change your format, or do you just shrink the video?
No, I just upload it like that. Yeah, we don't change the format or anything. But the only thing I don't like about TikTok is the music. I get flagged a lot for using because I pay for my music. And for some reason, it doesn't register with them. So I have to go back and change the soundtracks to some of my videos, which is kind of a pain. So.
Is that intellectual property?
Well, I mean, if I pay for music,
Yeah.
I should be able to use a license wherever, but for some reason it doesn't. I don't know. So.
It doesn't know you paid for it.
Yeah. I paid for it.
Yeah.
So. Anybody
I have
else?
a question. How do you, I'm a planner, how do you plan out your week or your month, or, I mean, how do you
Oh, notes.
calendar it? Or
Calendar, notes, my phone. I always have my phone on me, and it's always, when somebody asks me to do something, I always put it on my calendar. Calendars for me are so important, and sticky notes, sticky notes and calendars, and that's how I live my life, is through that, and that's where my wife comes in. She is a great planner. She's like, oh, by the way, you need to go be here today, or you need to meet with this person. So I guess she calls it she's like my handler, but it's all about the calendar, and that's how I live my days, through my calendar. Whether it's at my work, and my secretary is like, she sees my calendar, same thing, but that's how I live my life, is through the calendar. Anybody else?
anybody else?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.